More often than not, you'll come across photographs claiming to show Nibiru in daylight. It may be a clear sky showing a colourful Nibiru, or it may be a cloudy sky showing mysterious light sources. First of all, let's suppose that Nibiru is up there, orbiting the Sun such that we can look up into the sky and see it clearly. We must also suppose that Nibiru cannot change its form. It can't change its colour, its size, and so on. Sounds straightforward. Planets don't change colour on a daily basis. Why then are photographs claiming to show Nibiru in daylight all different? And we're not just talking about Nibiru being in different positions, we're talking about different colours and sizes. You know, of course, what I'm talking about. Lens flares. Anytime you point a camera at a bright light source, you're liable to end up with a lens flare of some sort. The more optics within the lens, the more chance there is of light bouncing around inside. Even taking a photo from behind a window can produce unwanted flares and light sources, because it's one more layer of glass for light to pass through. We also know that every lens will produce a different flare. The angles to the light source will be different, the aperture setting will be different, even the condition of the lens will be different. Some people cover their lenses when not in use, but others leave them open to the elements, leaving specks of dirt or scratches on the lens. Even drops of water can drastically alter an image, and often it's only when you get the images back that you can see imperfections in the lens. You're unlikely to see scratches through a viewfinder, for example. Things are even worse for mobile phones, where many such Nibiru images originate. Plenty of models don't have lens caps, and plenty of phones are carried around in pockets or handbags, perfect environments for picking up dirt, dust and scratches. Despite all of these problems and the artifacts that are created when pointing electronics and optics directly towards the Sun, the claim by believers still stands. You can see Nibiru in daylight with your own camera. Well, of course you can't. You're seeing lens flares and so on. And it's much easier to prove with video, so I went out and filmed some. You'll have to forgive the shaky footage, but I'll freeze frame where necessary. Now, I know what you've just blurted out. That's the moon, not the Sun. Blimey, anyone can tell the difference between those two. And that's correct, the moon is not the Sun. But that isn't the point of this experiment. The point is to illustrate that any strong light source will have effects on cameras, and the strongest light source that's pretty safe to look at is a full moon. So what you can see here is a light source behind the clouds. Immediately, I could see what many other Nibiru believers see in their photographs, a second circular object appearing in front of the moon. Through the LCD display, I could easily tell that this was in fact another image of the moon. The actual moon was so bright that the camera could only pick out its shape, but the reflection it saw on the window was enough to pick out the details of the moon's surface. To test this, and to confirm it was the window reflection I and my camera were seeing, I opened the window. Sounds simple, doesn't it? And guess what? No reflection of the moon, just a large light source illuminating the clouds. I even picked out a nice green lens flare, showing again how optics and light can create strange things. This entire test took me 3 minutes, and I found 2 instances of what others would call Nibiru. You can do this too, and you can see for yourselves that there is no planet out there in images like these. I'll say it again, I know this is the moon, but the principle is the same. You could test these things with a desk lamp if you needed to. Please note that looking at the Sun for even brief periods can cause irreparable damage to your eyes. If you're going to look, be very careful doing so, and if you start to see planets, consult a specialist.